A baby giraffe is born. It hits the ground, wobbles, falls over, tries again, and within about 30 minutes, it's walking. Walking. 30 minutes old, and it's already mobile. Now imagine a human baby trying to do that. Go ahead. That baby is doing absolutely nothing useful for the next 12 months. Maybe longer. It is lying there, making noises, occasionally staring at ceiling fans like that's a personality trait. So the question is, why? Why are human babies so catastrophically helpless compared to basically every other animal on the planet? And here's the thing. The answer is so much weirder than you think. Welcome to Ever Wondered, where we take the questions you never knew you had and make them impossible to ignore. Today, the strange, surprisingly fascinating reason human babies arrive completely unfinished. Let's start with some comparisons, just to really drive this home. A baby horse walks within hours. A baby dolphin swims immediately after birth. Baby sharks are fully independent from the second they enter the world. Some of them even eat their siblings in the womb, which is horrifying, but you have to admit, that's self-sufficient. And then there's a human newborn. Can't walk, can't hold its own head up, can't regulate its own body temperature, can't feed itself, can't do anything, really, except breathe, cry, and occasionally look mildly offended by existence. For about a year, a human infant is basically just a very loud, very soft, very demanding houseplant. So what went wrong? Nothing, actually. This is the weird part. This is evolution's plan. A genuinely terrible-sounding plan that turns out to be kind of brilliant. But it gets stranger before it gets brilliant. To understand why human babies are born so helpless, you have to understand something called the obstetric dilemma. Think of it like this. Evolution gave humans 2 upgrades at the same time. Upgrade 1, walk on 2 legs. Bipedalism. Very useful. Frees up the hands, lets you carry things, lets you see over tall grass, generally good deal. Upgrade 2, a much bigger brain. More intelligence, more complex thinking, more creativity. Also very useful. The problem: these 2 upgrades are in direct physical conflict with each other. Walking upright requires a narrow pelvis. Narrow hips are mechanically necessary for efficient 2-legged movement. But a bigger brain means a bigger skull. And a bigger skull trying to pass through a narrower pelvis is a geometry problem that evolution has been trying to solve for millions of years. Evolution looked at this situation and basically said, we have 2 options. We can make the pelvis wider, or we can make the brain smaller. And we're not doing either of those things. So here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to ship the baby early. Human babies are born at what scientists sometimes describe as a premature stage compared to other primates. If we followed the typical primate developmental timeline, human pregnancies would need to last somewhere around 18 to 21 months. Take a moment with that. 18 months. Instead, evolution pushed the exit date up to 9 months. Early enough that the baby's skull is still small enough to make it out safely, while the brain continues developing on the outside. A newborn human brain is only about 25% of its adult size. By comparison, a newborn chimpanzee brain is closer to 45% of its adult size at birth. We arrive the most unfinished. We also end up with the most complex brains. Coincidence? Definitely not. But here's where it gets even weirder. That extended period of helplessness. The thing that seems like a flaw might actually be the feature. Human brains grow fastest in the first year of life. And scientists think that the specific environment a baby is born into actually shapes how that brain develops. Unlike a giraffe calf, which arrives with most of its behavioral software pre-installed, a human baby's brain is spending that helpless year being wired by experience, by sounds, by faces, by language patterns, by the specific world it's going to have to navigate. It's not a bug. It's the most expensive, most exhausting form of software installation that evolution ever invented. The downside, of course, is that human parents can't just watch their offspring stand up and trot away after 30 minutes. Human parents are on the hook for years, which is probably why humans, almost uniquely among animals, tend to raise children in groups, families, communities, because no two people were ever going to do this alone without losing their minds. Evolution didn't just make babies helpless, it made humans need each other. Now here's the part that should genuinely make you stop for a second. You were that baby. At some point, you were the helpless one, the one who couldn't hold your head up, the one staring at ceiling fans. And during that year, while you were lying there doing what looked like nothing, your brain was doing something extraordinary. It was absorbing everything. Language, faces, emotional patterns, the physical logic of the world around you. Every language you can speak today, every face you learn to recognize, every social instinct you have, all of it started building during the year you couldn't stand up. Which means that Giraffe, the one walking at 30 minutes, arrived with a mostly finished brain. You arrived with a brain that was waiting to be written. That's not a design flaw. That's the whole point. So the next time someone describes a baby as useless, technically accurate, but that uselessness is the result of one of the most complicated evolutionary trade-offs in the history of life on Earth. A narrow pelvis, a giant brain, a compressed timeline, and a bet that the outside world would finish the job. A bet, so far, that seems to be paying off. Even if it does take about a year to get there, and about 20 more to really figure things out. Some of us are still working on it. If you've ever wondered about something and thought, there's no way that's interesting, that's exactly the kind of thing we cover here on Ever Wondered. Hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time.